Good afternoon, my friends. This is the Grimflayer. I hope you're all doing well. Replays are still down. It's very, very sad. It's very unfortunate. At this rate, I truly expected them to be back by now, but it's alright because we are just going to start a new league and record it live. And as you can see, the last week league went pretty well. All 5 of those matches are up on the channel. If you have not seen those, that is some content that may be worth checking out. We're going to continue playing our Dark Confidant list that we've been running. It's the same one that you can find in my most recent deck tech, which as always will be linked in the description below. And the only difference is we are swapping a main deck card with a sideboard card. We've got a Lily the Last Hope moved over to the side. I still really like having access to 2 in the 75, but we moved one of her to the side for a miserly one of Nile Spellbomb into the main. There are 3 of those in the 75, but we're just hedging a little bit against Faithless Looting decks by putting that card into the main. And here we go. We're starting off a league. We're kicking it off. So let's hope for a good matchup. Let's hope for some good draws and some good play. Yeah, while we're waiting, if you would like to support my work here, support my content, see the Golgari Midrange archetype thrive, you can visit my Patreon, which, just like the deck tech, will be linked in the description below. I'm going to be adding incentives to the tier reward system probably before the end of the month. Do a new year, new tiers type of deal, and we'll figure out a little bit more for that. But for now, the Patreon is there, liking, sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff. I dearly appreciate everybody who supports this channel in any way. So thanks to all of you, and if you're not doing so, why not? Come on, the stuff's not bad. The stuff's not bad at all. And, you know, liking, sharing, subscribing, this stuff doesn't really cost you much besides a click or two. So I would truly love it if you could help me out, help me grow. That would be just wonderful. So our opponent is a little bit skittish, a little bit frightened. I don't blame them. The Golgari deck is definitely a force to be reckoned with in the meta right now. Last I looked, Goldfish had us at 8th. I guess maybe I'll take another quick peek at that while we're still waiting for an opponent here. Let's see. Going over to Modern. According to Goldfish, the metagame is as follows. Spirits, Is It Phoenix, Grixis Death Shadow, Dredge, Tron, KCI, Storm, Golgari, yes, in 8th, Hardened Scales, and then Blue-White Control. Well, let's hope this opponent joins the match. And looks like they will. We are in. And we are off to a bad start with a pretty unkeepable 7 on the draw. It's close, but I don't think we can keep a 1-lander, especially when it's just a basic forest, so we'll throw it back. Boy, oh boy, I do not like going to 5, as you know if you've seen this channel enough. I really hate going to 5, specifically in Game 1. So I'm going to get a Scry, and I'm going to get 2 draw steps before it becomes a real issue. So I think the math is on my side to keep this one. This hand is pretty powerful in a blind Game 1 as well. So I'm going to keep it. That's a bottom. Well, Blue-White Control. Or Jeskai Control. And, oh, come on, deck. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Alright, we really just need a black source next turn. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Hissing Quagmire will technically count, and really that's fine. I will not complain about that one. Opponent will opt, sure. I guess we're going to want the game log here so we can see what they do with their scries. They went to the bottom with that opt. Alrighty. So, Field of Ruin, yeah, this looks like straight blue-white. Okay, we're continuing to hit our land drop, so this is quite fine. So we're going to open on the Inquisition here, and then potentially Shock and Brutality would be the play. I should probably start off by trying to... Okay, they've got Spell Snare and D-Sphere, and they've got a whole lot of stuff. A whole lot of stuff, eh? Well, I think we just take the Spell Snare, and then we're going to Brutality them. Unless... Now, let's take the Spell Snare, and then Thoughtseize take that Jace. We can pressure the Jace with Treetop, but I still think that's the best take there. Alright, so they have still a pretty stacked hand, but... They're not quite on Cryptic mana until they get there, which they're going to right now. They're going to field away, it looks like, our Quagmire, so that lets us get Abrupt Decay mana if they end up playing, you know, like a Search for Azcanta or something like that. So they're going to play this Plains and they'll have Cryptic, but Thoughtseize and Brutality are going to be good ways to kind of eat into those. Nile Spellbomb. Alright. Thoughtseize you. They just drew an island, so we're going to take away a Cryptic. Now the question is, do we force the other Cryptic out of their hand? They're just going to counter and draw this, but if we don't do that, they might counter and bounce our Treetop Village on the end step. That's kind of bad too. I think we're just supposed to force this out of their hand here. I'm going to try to play a little bit quicker than I sometimes do with these live matches, simply because it is against blue-white control. The games are going to go very long. What did they bounce back to their hand? Plains? What was that about? What am I missing here? Are they just playing around Liliana a little bit? Or did they mean to bounce my Treetop? Or did they mean to draw a card? I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something obvious here. Anyway, I'm going to keep chugging along. Twilight Mire. So... how frisky do we want to get with this Treetop Village? I think we want to attack here. I suppose we're going to play this out first, just in case of Mana Leak, specifically. Or, I guess, Logic Knot to a lesser extent. And we're going to turn this thing sideways. So right now we're in a position where we fought through a very powerful hand. We drew out of our risky keep after a Malta 6. All of these things are pretty good. That said, we are not pressuring them as much as we'd like to, but considering the rocky start that we had, I don't think we can complain even a little bit about that. But the problem here, of course, is that they are live to top deck some bombs. They are a deck that can realistically out-top deck us. And that is why this matchup is kind of firmly settled in the moderately unfavorable category, from my perspective. That's how I see it. None of the cards we have in the sideboard even choke now that Teferi's around. It's not as good as it used to be. I'm almost wondering if I need to revamp my approach against blue-white control in general. I'm actually considering kind of not punting the matchup, but having no more choke and nothing else that's really mostly there for control. Just accepting that the matchup is not great, and leaning on cards like Fulminator Mage that are really there primarily for other matchups, but of course have some good utility against control as well. Swamp is not a very good draw here. We really want action. We really want... if it was a land, it should have been a Field of Ruin from our perspective, but they can't quite activate the Colonnade yet, so I suppose we need to get in while the getting's good with this Treetop Village. So I think we should always be sandbagging like exactly one land against, when possible, in this matchup for the purposes of Tireless Tracker. Especially because it's a swamp, it's doing actual nothing for us right now besides letting us hold up Abrupt Decay, which, while granted is not nothing, I think the benefits of holding back this swamp outweigh the benefits of deploying it. Now, that might change as the game goes on. You know, we might start being interested in cantripping with a spell bomb in the near future. You never know, but for now, I think that's a decent rule to have in mind. Like, there is a tension between wanting to sandbag lands for stuff like Tracker and wanting to actually just develop your mana so that you can have, you know, a high concentration of spells on the same turn, overwhelming their counter magic. Okay, so now I do wish that I had played the swamp, but that's alright. I think I'm going to cantrip here on the end step with a spell bomb. It's good enough for me. Good enough timing for me. Okay, Tireless Tracker. Alright, so if this resolves, we are in wonderful shape. If not, we can still at least decay that search. Nice. Very nice. And we're not really going to find a better target for Abrupt Decay. Like, they have a Maelstrom Pulse, that's true, but, or excuse me, a Detention Sphere, so, actually, I wonder, maybe we're supposed to keep this around and let them have the value out of search. I'll actually buy that. Of course, we have the luxury of doing so because we were able to clear out the graveyard. Now, I still don't really like them getting repeated scries, that is for sure, but like, if they tap 3 mana for a Detention Sphere, that can potentially put them shields down. Oh, wow. Celestial Colonnade? They're going to race us, huh? Maybe they have a Path to Exile to hold up now? Yep, you got it. So here we need to crack a clue if, yikes. Yep. Okay, we're dead to this thing in a couple hits, actually. Tarmogoyf. So we can go Lily into Goyf and crack a clue. I think we should crack a clue, frankly, first, looking for Trophy or Field of Ruin. Once more, that's going to let them keep that search for his contour around, but that is not our primary issue here. Lily the Last Hope is not great in this particular window of the game, so yeah. Yeah, I guess it's Goyf and Lily. They're going to de-sphere one of them, and they're going to hit us down to 3. This is kind of a tough call here as well. I guess it is going to be the Lily the Last Hope. I think she's just a tad slow, and we don't have anything to buy back at the moment anyway. We've had a surprisingly painful progression with a couple Thought Seizes and Effect Shock. It's very possible that I should have gotten a basic with Tireless Tracker, then we would be at 9, and that would actually be a lot better. They pitched a Terminus. Okay. Here comes the Sphere. Goyf is a 5/6. Oh, Assassin's Trophy. Beautiful. Alright, I don't know. So if it's Logic Knot that they have in hand. 1, 2, 3. They can't stop this trophy. We've got a trophy, the Colonnade. Gotta be done. Very nice. Very fortunate draw there. That's what we've been digging for, to be fair. We've been prioritizing the dig. And we got it. Alright. Now what? Now do we just... I think we're just gonna Pulse, Decay, tick the Lily up. Seems really good, actually. What a turn. Cryptic out of their hand, too. Wow. Alright. Alright, they are dead on board. But what do they have here? Jace the Mind Sculptor. Okay. I suppose they're just going to bounce this Tarmogoyf. Seems pretty good. Alright, well, we've got to get that Jace off the field. Alright, they're just conceding to that. Fair enough. I don't think they were technically dead, but they're going to struggle to come back from that. That is for sure. Wow. Well, that was quite the draw. That Assassin's Trophy just kind of unlocked the turn for us and allowed us to do everything that we needed to do. My big questionable play there was the Fetch and Shock, but fortunately we were able to draw the right answer, so that didn't come back to hurt us. And you know, generally you do, of course, want to Fetch and Shock against blue-white control. They don't pressure your life total all that well. But this was one where we kind of did a lot of damage to ourselves, and then they took it from there. They pivoted to an aggro plan, and I think correctly they did so. But yeah, we got there anyway, so all's well that ends well. So this is going to be the pile of good stuff over here. Fulminator Mage, Nissa Vital Force, Choke. This is what these types of cards are here for. Liliana the Last Hope is solid. Not as solid as against any kind of deck with red in it, because they just don't put as many things into the graveyard. She's still solid, though. She still is probably likely to come in. I'd put Collective Brutality in a similar category. I don't like it as much as I like the Duress, which we don't have, because Duress can, of course, take away Jason to Fairy. Maelstrom Pulse is also solid as well. Kitchen Finks is less good than it used to be against blue-white control, because they're just not leaning on Supreme Verdict anymore, so I don't think we really need more than the one Nile Spellbomb that's in the main, and none of this other stuff is good, so let's see what we don't like. I think the 4 Fatal Pushes are a clear cut, even though they, do have a couple targets, but we just want to cut the stuff that's a little bit too narrow to be great. So that would be Push, that would be Abrupt Decay, and we like to cut a land in this matchup too. So we've got the potential to just cut like Kalidas in Skoos, like one of each getting cut there is totally fine. That lets us bring in all 3 of these, so I'm liking this. And then, do we want a Nile Spellbomb over the 3rd Ooze or the 1st Kalidas, or do we maybe bring back something like an Abrupt Decay? This is where it gets down to preference, kind of. I'm just going to keep my threat count high, I guess. I'm going to just keep this Ooze in here. Not the best against their deck, but I just think the second Spellbomb is a little bit of overkill, but the second Spellbomb is also certainly reasonable. Could go either way with that. They're going to mull to 6. I like that a lot. Please mulligan all you want, my friend. I'm going to keep... This hand's pretty great, honestly, against blue-white deck. Dark Confidant is 100% a card we want to see in the opening hand. And we've got a good spread of threats and interaction. Assassin's Trophy's a good draw. We won't be using it anytime soon, but good in the matchup, as we saw last game. No shock. Okay, so Spell Snare is the big blowout here. Spell Snare is the big blowout, and they have shown us that they play it. So this is actually quite difficult here. It's quite difficult in my opinion. I think Dark Confidant's just got the highest upside. We probably have to lead on him and risk getting it spell snared. But if we do, that's still just a 1-for-1. It's not unbeatable. It's just a nice answer for them. That's all. And we're gonna play the Liliana next turn, almost certainly. Yeah, we're gonna risk running into a spell snare here. Nice. Very, very, very nice. Now they might have a path here that'll ramp us. That's acceptable. They have other cards, one-ofs like Oust, things like this. But they've got to have them. Alright, they've got a path in the main, sure. Alright, now that we've been ramped... Ooh, rest in peace. Okay, well, I was going to say now that we've been ramped, maybe we wish to have a 2-spell turn. I was thinking Brutality into Goyf, but now we have Dark Confidant. Alright, well, Lily and... Oh, they're both so good. I really don't actually know what to do here. We have actually 3 good plays. We have Brutality into Bob, we have Liliana tick up, and we have Tracker into Field. I truly like all of them, and I might like Tracker into Field the most. It's just the most proactive clock. It's a guaranteed advantage no matter what else happens. I think I like that. This is very debatable. Very, very debatable. But I'm going to go for it. There's like nothing that I actively want to pitch to Liliana in my hand anyway, you know? That was an interesting spot. Then again, they were so low on cards that almost any pitch to Lily would have been backbreaking for them there, potentially anyway. We're continuing to get ramped here, but still pretty good for them. They've got the answers to these things before they get out of control. Okay. Okay. So, Brutality will whiff if they're sitting on Planeswalkers. Inquisition will whiff if they're sitting on lots of high-end stuff. So I almost think that I'm supposed to just play Lily into Bob and just be extremely proactive right here, right now. I think that's what I'm going to do. So let's start off on the Lily. We're going to tick up and I guess pitch our Inquisition if she sticks. Let's pitch our Tarmogoyf, actually, because there's a Rest in Peace down. I plan to deal with that at some point, but maybe that's just the better play at the moment. There goes a Terminus. Alright, here's our Bob. Okay. Looking good. They've got two very problematic permanents to deal with. Alright. Okay, we're just hitting a couple lands. That's not the worst. So let's begin by taking up the Lily. We're going to pitch our Inquisition. It's very possible they've got a play here. Looks like they do. Ooh, they're going to draw two. Okay. Maybe we then pitch our Verdant Catacombs instead of this Inquisition. I like that. They pitch an island. Alright, so this has a reasonable likelihood of whiffing, but I think at this point we are supposed to Inquisition here. Another Illumination? That's very annoying, because they can cycle this on the end step in response to our Brutality. Or they can cycle it on the end step or in response to Brutality, I should say. Well, as I said, that is annoying indeed. Let's crack a clue here. Swamp. I don't really want to force that Brutality here. Like, it would just be going too low on value, in my opinion, if they cycle in response and the Brutality whiffs as well. Like, it's just... I'm just going to hang on to it. We're going to hold up Trophy. Get in for 2 and pass. I mean, they're still under the gun, right? They still have Bob and Lily both to deal with, both of which are rapidly burying them. We now have some real problem lands on the field, too. Field of Ruin to answer their Colonnade. Treetop Village to clock. Alright, so they drew D-Sphere. That is fine. We will trophy that away. Taking the Lily up. Oh, did they find a Celestial Purge? That's a good one. Okay, you got it. That was really nice for them. Getting in for 3 when they didn't have their Ghost Quarter up, that was pretty good. I'm just going to cash in the Spell Bomb here on the end step. Oh, shoot. That was bad. That was bad. My mistake, guys. Sorry about that. Forgot about the replacement effect here with the Rest in Peace. My mistake, my mistake. Well, Lily the Last Hope is a card. Not as good as she might otherwise be, but I think I want to escalate a Brutality here, pitching the Swamp. Clear the way. Got to start playing a little bit quicker, too. Actually, I don't... Maybe we just attack first, right? I want to let them build up cards a little bit more here, so let's move to the beginning of combat. And yeah, we will fire up the treetop, sure. I mean, this is bad, I guess, against Settle the Wreckage or whatever, but yeah, sure. QQ. I'm gonna sandbag this swamp here. And this Rest in Peace has actually been a bit of a problem for us. Okay, negated. Well, I'm punished for not spot checking their hand, but I don't know that I'm really supposed to spot check their hand against just one card. I think we usually wait on that a bit, but Jace is good. Jace was a heck of a top deck. They're gonna Fate Seal me. Interesting, yeah. Goes to the bot. Alright, Bob. Field of Ruin and Thoughtseize are not very good at all. Yeah, I'm gonna pressure the Jace here. I'm also just gonna drain them for 2. None of this is particularly exciting, but I really want to make them have to think twice before unsummoning. And I think this makes them think twice a little bit. More than it would if we just attacked them for 2. Looks like they're going for the Brainstorm, though, which our Hand Disruption might line up well enough against, but really hoping for some great stuff off the Bob here. Lily the Last Hope, again. Okay, Thoughtseize you. Opt. Yep. Terminus. Yeah, okay. That was pretty good, pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Yes, sir. Alright, we played some spells. A lot of them were on the mediocre side of things, that's for sure. But big problem right now might be the clock, to be honest. It's my own fault. I'm just commentating and talking way too much. This Rest in Peace has done so much work, everything from blanking my cantrip on the Spellbomb to incentivizing me to pitch the Tarmogoyf and indeed rendering the Tarmogoyf useless to making the Liliana last two non-factor for the moment. It's been great. And timely reinforcements, that's a heck of a draw. That's a heck of a draw. But at least Lily can start picking them off here. Tireless Tracker is a good one. Good draw. I'm going to crack this main phase. We're digging for more action. If they have a removal spell, then we know they're empty-handed at least. Okay. I think we hold this Brutality. Or do we... Yeah, we're going to hold it. We're going to hold it and pass. At gaining 6 life, that was a bit rough too. Cards like that are part of the reason I was reluctant to pressure them, their life total with the Bob. That's why I went after the Jace with that one attack that I did get. Didn't feel right there to kill a soldier with Brutality because we have the free kills with Lily the Last Hope. Didn't feel right, again, to spot check their hand when they only have one card there and when we don't have a spell to force through afterwards. I don't know. Another Collective Brutality. Alright. If you say so. We're making clues. We're going to tick up for free kills on soldiers. All of this is good. Alright, now I want to spot check your hand. Still no good targets over there for the Field of Ruin either. Fields of Ruin. Negated. Alright. I think that means they want to defend what's in their hand, so we'll crack a clue here. And see what we get. Cryptic Command. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, we'll Thoughtseize. Vendilion click, sure. Alright, I don't think we're going to win a game 3 at this point with the clock, so we just pretty much have to win this game 2. Man, no trophy, no pulse for this Jason, and quite a few draws has been rough. We've We have put together a lot of good things of our own. There's no doubt about that. But this Jace is just... Again, they were empty-handed. They ripped the Jace right off the top, and... Dang, path, yep. And this Jace has been just, like, keeping them in this game. D-Sphere, yikes. What a dig for them. A really good brainstorm with the Jace gets them a path and a D-Sphere. And we find a Twilight Mire. That's not it. That is not it. Alright, I'm going to kill the soldier with brutality and drain them. It's not great by any means, but... Kill your thing, drain you for 2. I don't know if our opponent plays any Snapcaster Mage, but it's a little bit unfortunate for us if they do, and they just haven't seen any snaps when they've got the graveyard shut off with Rest in Peace. They haven't seen their Search for Azcanta either. Like, none of their Graveyards Matter stuff is being afflicted by this turn 2 RIP. Alright, we need them to brick here. As unlikely as that is, we need them to brick. We need, that's not a brick, that's a very good 1-for-1 at this stage of the game. Another rip, sure. And they're empty-handed. Alright, deck, you can do it. Show me the love. Oh, no, come on, come on, come on. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That was the crucial turn. That was the crucial turn, it feels like. You know, we're not out of it yet. But... that was quite poor. We've got so many live draws there, and it's an Inquisition. Very, very bad. But, you know, they're going to build up card advantage here, and all that good stuff. Ugh. And I was going to say maybe we can draw something good here and force it through, but it's a Hissing Quagmire, which would have been very good for so much of this game, but it's coming exactly after it's needed. Right when they find their own Field of Ruin. It's just from bad to worse here, folks. From bad to worse. But this will be my fault if we do lose because of the clock, so I'm just really going to focus on the clock from here on out. And, you know, they do have to actually win the game, so we can perhaps make up some time on the clock going forward, but, yeah, the curse of the commentator, as they say in sports. You know, when a commentator speaks about a general thing and then the opposite immediately proves them not wrong, but, you know, provides a countervailing example, let's say. So... this is the curse of commentary, is I'm just behind on the clock when I definitely would not otherwise be, but that's alright. We're going to clear the way for our pulse here. We're going to pulse away something. Depends on what's in their hand. Opt. Oh, they have a Teferi. Good God. Well, I still think I pulse the Jace. Still think I'm going to pulse the Jace here. Again, I'm just kind of making plays. Try to force the opponent to take so many game actions that they fall behind on the clock. And in order to actually beat me, that's what they're going to have to do. Oh, the Teferi. The Teferi, the Teferi. Imagine if that was a Lily of the Veil under that D-Sphere. We could have pulsed that away and ticked her up, and things might have been okay. But as they are, not so much. Not great. Okay. Please resolve, please resolve. It resolves. Well then. Well then, well then, well then. A third RIP. Yeah, you got the graveyards pretty well shut off, my friend. Okay. Wow. All right. I am cautiously optimistic. Sure, you've got to have something, but Terminus Hardcast, yes, you got it. You got it, you got it. Even Tireless Tracker off the top with an empty hand is fine on all these Fields of Ruin. That's not a good draw at all, but we're closing the gap of the clock. That's really what I'm focusing on now. So much so that I'm F6ing even on their turn when they have when we have Fields of Ruin. It's not going to hurt us that badly. Oh, deck. Oh, deck. Come on, come on, come on. There goes all my cautious optimism right out the window. Hey, Ripig Jace. Yep. Yep, well, at least he's going to take some... take up some of their time. He's going to Fate Seal us. Leaving it on top. Oh, boy. Inquisition of Kozilek. Well, I think I just hold this since they gave it to me. Try to force through an important spell. Okay, the Fate Seal to the bottom. We've got a Tarmogoyf. Sure, I guess that qualifies as an important spell here. Double Cryptic Command. Yep. Exciting, exciting times. We're ahead on the clock, though. All right, all right. Treetop Village. They keep bottoming everything, so they're getting good, really good value out of the Fate Seal here. All right. Take some actions here. Eat up more of their clock. Pressurize the Jace if they somehow let this through. Okay, they're gonna bounce and draw. Sure. Okay, I guess that means I try to force through double Tarmogoyf here. Not that these do anything under Rest in Peace anyway, but it gives the opponent a little bit more to think about. Alright, they're just gonna counter this. I guess I play the other one. Miracles of Terminus. Yep. You got it, my friend. Fate Seal. Here comes that J-Salt. They left it on top, huh? Okay, no J-Salt, I guess. Or did they looked like they were auto-yielded, but they must have something here, huh? Sure, Cryptic Bounce. Okay, we're gonna field their Colonnade. All right, my friends, we're a full minute ahead on the clock. And remember that we won game one, so I think we've got this one wrapped up. We just have to keep playing quickly. I'm going to attack them. They've only got 6 cards left in their library. That's kind of hilarious. Really doesn't matter what we do here. So why am I doing anything? I should have just F6'd, honestly. Attack their Jace for fun. Just for style points, kill that Jace who'd caused us so much trouble. I don't know what our opponent's taking even longer on the clock here for, but yep, the game's over. Sweet. They got us. To the side we go, and everything I think we want to keep the same here. We're just going to play quickly, look for a reasonable keep, and call it good. The clock is our friend sometimes. Keep. Opt, double path, purge. They don't have white right now, so I'm going to take their opt. Blooming Marsh, Scoos. Field of Ruin that we knew about. Not getting any love from the top of my deck, that's for sure. Neither are they. Collective brutality, huh? Alright. I'm just going to take away Cryptic. I think that's their hand. This is not much of a game 3. They're stuck on 2 lands and I'm drawing nothing but lands. Tireless Tracker is a good draw. We might actually win this, like, win it. There's a colonnade. They've got white. What else do they have? Nothing. I'm just cracking all my clues. Oh no, I missed my attack step. What an idiot. Oh well, it's just the clock. We're just playing for the clock. Oh, I can't believe I did that though. I'm trying to play too quickly. Oh, this is absurd. Yes, yes, yes. Alright, I need to stop playing this game and just... click through my turns. Oh, this is too stressful for me, guys. Oh, this is too stressful for me. It's really my own fault, though. I'm just gonna play out a couple creatures, then pass. And F6. Alright, I'm just gonna force myself to F6 through the rest of this game. It's so against my instincts. I'm never down to the wire in a match like this that actually matters, but... Yep. We're just gonna attack an F6, attack an F6. They can't beat me in 15 seconds. It would be cool to get the actual win here, which we do with Brutality. Sweet. Okay. Or they're just going to let the clock run down. Wow. Alright, so that was a bit of a mess at the end there. I got so excited about my actual, like, real good progression in the middle turns here after they bricked for so long that I started actually getting wrapped up in playing the game. So... as you can see, guys, you know, I've mentioned I'm a little bit hesitant about the live footage sometimes, as it regards League matches. I can 1000% guarantee you that I would never have been behind on the clock in the first place if I was not commentating as I played. That's just, like, I just... the nature of my play when I'm focused on a League match, I just rarely go behind on the clock. Now... commentating adds a whole, like, your brain is just, a certain amount of your brain's capacity is just kind of diverted to speaking. Even if you're not, like, going out of your way, using even more of your brain's capacity for, you know, to refine the speaking or to make the speaking more compelling or more engaging, the brain is still operating at less than maximum capacity, in terms of how much it can focus on taking the best lines the quickest, right? So I fell behind on the clock where I normally would not have. Now, I identified that right from the start, and then apparently I just kept babbling for too long. To be fair, I think we did have some fairly interesting decision points in game one that kind of ate up some clock justifiably, but more than that, I probably talked too long and fell behind on the clock. We really spent the latter half of game two just closing the gap on the clock, and then I just got so excited here in game three that I made it a lot closer than it needed to be, but as long as we had the discipline to start F6ing at some point, I left it to about the last minute, that was totally fine. Now, our opponent didn't seem to be all that hurried about the clock either, so I would have had to clean up my act a little bit earlier had they been, just really trying to maximize every second, but they weren't, so neither did we. Now, so that was a bit of a mess in terms of how I piloted it, so sorry for the whiplash, because I was, taking my time, and then I'm like, oh, we gotta hurry up. And then I started taking my time again. And then it was just a little absurd. But anyway, the Gaul wins the match, Grimflayer MTG wins the match, we got there, that's all that matters. So here in this game 3, we were so incredibly guaranteed to win, it's not even funny, if this had been an actual game. Now, our opponent kept a little bit of a potentially sketchy 7. I don't know if it's a mull per se, but they might have been feeling the pressure of the clock and just said, we're going to keep anything that's not completely non-functional, right? But they got stuck on 2 lands, neither of which were white for long enough that even though we flooded out early, look at all this gas we had in hand by the end of it. It was just great. So this game 3 would have been ours either way. Game 2, the Jace was just came at the exact right time for him, kept him in that game. I think we had it, looked like we had a decent shot at wrapping things up, but Jace, they found a timely reinforcements. They held us off well. We bricked it a couple crucial turns, but then, to be fair, we extended the game reasonably well by finding stuff like Assassin's Trophy and Maelstrom Pulse. A little too late to be optimal, but still enough to extend the game, force the opponent to take more game actions, close the gap on the clock, and all that good stuff. So the big takeaway from this is that I need to get better at clock management while I'm commentating live. That is, again, not an issue that I have normally, but as soon as I see the Celestial Colonnade deck, I need to be clicking quickly, I need to be speaking more minimally. So feel free, you guys, to call me out in that in the future if you see that from me. Feel free to call me out. I need the kick in the butt for that reason, apparently. Now, I don't think we're favored in this match, and the nature of how game 2 went kind of exemplified that, right? Because we had some favorable progressions, we had some favorable exchanges of resources early on, and our Inquisitions. Here's the interesting tension about this particular match, right? About this particular matchup. Our Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes and Collective Brutalities, you can see a handful of them right here. They are great in a lot of stages of the game. But when both players are in top deck mode, we have a lot more dead top decks than they do due to our inclusion of those things. So they're kind of a necessary evil in that you need them to realistically fight through their interaction. Indeed, you basically bring in as many of these effects as you have. Collective Brutality, Duress, any Thoughtseizes that might be in your sideboard, all these cards should come in. But the problem with them is that, like I just said, they're the dead top decks that the opponent's deck doesn't really suffer from. So even that wasn't that bad until Teferi was printed, and Teferi is just such a haymaker against us, it is not even funny. So for all of those reasons, even though we have some good tools against them, even though Liliana of the Veil is still just incredible against them like she's always been, I don't think we're favored anymore. So the fact that we took them down here to start off our league, and my own clock management didn't come back to screw us, well, I'm just thrilled. I'm just very happy. So, there you have it. starting off the league with a 2-1 against blue-white control on the power of pressing F6. It's a beautiful thing. So, as always, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you watching, and I'm sure I took plenty of questionable lines in this matchup. That's the nature of decisions against blue-white control specifically. A lot of them are not nailed on correct. A lot of them are nebulous. A lot of them fall into gray areas rather than good or bad. Deciding whether to fire off a discard spell when they only have one card in hand is a great example of that. So feel free to point out the wrong lines that I took. I'm sure there were some of them. I'm sure there were some that maybe weren't wrong but were questionable. And of course, as the game went on and I started having to play quicker, I'm sure there were even more. So let me know about those. But I hope you enjoyed this kind of wild match. Went right down to the wire. Little bit exciting, a little bit crazy, and we ended up getting there. So thanks again for watching. Stay tuned to the channel. I will be playing the league matches piecemeal over the course of the next week or so. Might not be able to upload and play, for that matter, quite as frequently as I usually do, just due to holiday shenanigans going on. But anyway, stay tuned to the channel. We'll finish out the league over the next week or so, and I will see you for that next video in the series. I hope you have a great night, and I will talk to you soon.